Okay, happy Halloween. So, I'm going to be guest hosting here on Aya's art channel this evening for Halloween. Look, I like Halloween. Sometimes I like being spooked out, but I'm not like a big, like, oh, I love spookiness type fan. However, I do kind of get into it sometimes, but when I think about costuming, I created my own costume. So I'm wearing a shirt that has like art from my channel that I created a while back. And that's what I'm wearing for Halloween. But the theme of this evening's talk is going to be Inktober spooky drawings. So we're going to do like a look back at some drawings that I had created. And then once I've shared some videos of drawings that she created, I might draw a little bit with you guys. Okay, so let's start with the first video.
Our prompt for today is enchanted, and of course sometimes being enchanted can be a delight. There are other times when it's a curse. I decided to focus on the story of Angelique Dupre and Barnabas Collins from Dark Shadows. And even though we are going to look at things primarily from the point of view of Angelique, and she's going to be in the foreground, I started with Barnabas, who is in the background, and his expression, his very pained expression of not liking what has been done to him, is a very big part of this story. When I do an illustration to any kind of story, it's not really so much that the characters need to resemble any actor who played that part, but they do have to show the feelings of the character in their faces. So this may not look like Lara Parker to you, may not look like Jonathan Freed, but it definitely looks like Angelique and Barnabas. And in order to avoid being very pedantic about the exact way in which I ink the drawing, I will instead share with you a poem I wrote a long time ago, Angelique's Lament. I was born in the islands, in sorcery skilled, and though but a servant, I did as I willed, till I came with my mistress my fortune to claim in that calm Collinwood in the quaint state of Maine. Barnabas Collins was the man of my dreams, a handsome profile from a family of means. But he fell in love with my mistress Josette, a porcelain doll fit to fondle and pet. Then I vowed in my mind, my heart full of gall, if he would not have me, he'd have no one at all. Then I sent him by night to hunt and to kill, to quaff human blood and to drink to his fill. I could have but killed him, yet loved him too well. I wanted him living, so damned him to hell. I made him immortal, to the dark gods I said, make him one of your own, both living and dead. Each day by his coffin a vigil I keep. Let no one disturb his ungodly sleep. And longing I watch him, and lonely I pine. I daydream and wonder, why can't he be mine? Then I send him by night to hunt and to kill, to quaff human blood and to drink to his fill. And I vow in my mind, my heart cold and chill, if I cannot have him, by the gods, no one will. And hopefully by now, you see the resemblance. It does look like Barnabas. It does look like Angelique. And we'll add some color and some sparkle to their eyes, and we'll call it a day.
Oh, that looks spooky. You're the Quaker parrot? Awesome. I really like that. Okay. Let's watch the next one.
Inktober, day 20, tread. So I decided that I would use the phrase, don't tread on me, to think up a theme for my drawing. And I put one of my shoes on the table so I could sketch it, toes down and heel up. And then I used a photograph from Missouri Conservation's Explorer magazine. It's on the back here. And the snake that I was drawing is called an Eastern Coach Whip. And here's what Missouri Conservation has to say about it. This snake can grow up to 60 inches long, and it lashes like a whip when caught. It might as well be called greased lightning, because that's how fast it is. Once it was believed the coach whip could chase and whip people, but that's a myth. It pursues prey like mice, lizards, and small snakes. In Missouri, it lives in dry, rocky landscapes in the southern half of the state. Okay, so as this is not a poisonous snake, you can see it has the round eye shape, not like a cat eye. And that's one of the ways that you can tell that it is not poisonous, and there's no need to kill it because it actually helps us out. I do not dislike snakes the way some people do. My father taught me to handle them. I do know how to capture them and release them if they're in a place where they're bothering other people. And while I'm not the best artist when it comes to drawing snakes, I did find this assignment to be pretty easy. So if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, like, and do all the other things that people do to show their appreciation. And I'll see you next time in the next installment of my Inktober.
I kind of want to do Inktober. I just didn't like how you had to do 31 drawings. It kind of makes me think, do I want to participate? Okay, so the reason I didn't participate in Inktober, it looks really cool. It was just because there were so many drawings you had to do, but I think it kind of makes me want to do it. I just feel like you'd have to have a lot of free time because I tried years ago when I had a little bit more free time to do the A to Z challenge, and that was just so like time consuming. So I just feel like, yeah, that would be a good, it sounds fun, but just this thing where you have to do a different drawing each day. Like I work on the same drawing for a really long time. I'm not really good at doing a lot of quick drawings, but I think if you are like into doing a lot of quick drawings, Inktober would be fun. So let's watch the next installment of our spooky Inktober retrospective.
The white things on black paper. So it's Inktober day 22, and our prompt is ghost. And I have this book in my library called Struggle, Death, Memory, 1939 to 1945. on the 20th anniversary of the rising in the Warsaw Ghetto. And so I was looking at a black and white photograph in this book, and my challenge as an artist here was to draw only the white things on black paper, and I'm not sure whether I lived up to that challenge very much. As you notice, I'm using a pen that has slightly blue ink on it, but actually after the ink settles down on the paper, it looks more or less white. So this is basically white on black that I'm doing here. While you watch me struggle with this artistic task, I will read you an excerpt from the poem by Władysław Broniewski to the Polish Jews. This is translated into English from Polish. No cry of despair rose from Polish cities and towns. The defenders of Warsaw's ghetto fell like a gallant battalion. A wandering Polish poet, I steep my words in blood and my heart in a deep sea of tears to write of you, O Polish Jews. Not like men did they come, but like bloodhounds. Not as soldiers they came, but as butchers. To murder you, murder your children and wives, to choke people to death in the gas chambers, to burn people alive in vans filled with lime, and to jeer at the agony of their terrified victims. But you picked up cobblestones from the street and hurled them at their cannoneer, who loaded his gun to blast your house off the face of the earth. Sons of the Maccabees, you know how to face death like your fathers. You joined us in that battle, which began in September, though you knew there was not a chance to win. And I'm going to stop reading there and just talk to you about this. It's all very well to be brave and to pick up cobblestones and to hurl them at cannoneers, but it's better to own your gun and to have ammunition of your own. And not only should you have the sort of equipment that will fight the military, not only should you have an AR-15, you should have a cannon of your own if you're going to stand up to this kind of atrocity. By the way, I'm sorry that I didn't quite capture the jeering, sneering look in the man on the right's face, because I've seen that look very recently on the face of a very young man from the Highway Patrol. There are people among us right now who are working for the state who have this in their heart. And that's why the Second Amendment is very important. And this is my contribution to Inktober, Day 22, Ghost. If you want to see more, follow me on Instagram and buy my books.
Okay, so that was a very powerful drawing that I had created, and a very powerful message. So let's share the next video.
Inktober, Day 26, Dark. This is just a fun little drawing. I'm not taking any of it too seriously. So here's how I got the idea for it. What I wanted to do was draw something that was reminiscent of that scene in Snow White. You know, the movie Snow White, that scary scene where she gets lost in the woods and there all you can see is darkness and eyes looking at her. Anyway, I remember that as being very scary when I first saw it as a little girl. But I didn't really want to draw Snow White. So I found this stunning photograph in Harper's Bazaar. There's a model in a red dress with blonde hair. And I have her, I think of this as her being perched on some kind of a windowsill, and there are no blinds, and so all sorts of creatures from the darkness are peering in at her. It's not particularly scary, it's just fun. The idea that her beauty is on display and she doesn't care and it doesn't matter. So here comes the part where I color it in, and I'm used to painting, and I'm used to being able to get the colors to blend in together. I want to have some highlights and some dark areas, and I don't quite know how to do that with the ink that I'm using, which is mostly markers, because the gel pens, they just don't work for me in the way that I would like them to. So I use them a little bit, but not for painting purposes, but just a little dash or a little dot here or there. And my biggest problem, of course, is that I don't have enough black ink. Normally, I would want the darkness to be black, but every time I try to use a black marker, well, it just didn't mark the way I wanted it to. So eventually I had to give up on that idea, and I used a gray marker instead. But anyway, all of that was done in about, I guess, 30 minutes time, 32 minutes. And I sped it up times 8. So overall, what you're watching is about 4 minutes.
Oh, I like the kind of gold-looking paint background. The way it's black, but it just looks silverish.
So the spooky background could definitely have been a lot better done. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway.
You do. You like
and
it.
I like my lady in red. I like the yellow eyes. And if you like it too, then follow me on Instagram and let me know what you thought of it. So until next time, when I have a different drawing for you.
Okay, that was a pretty cool drawing. Let's share the final one from Aya Katz's Inktober retrospective for Halloween.
Misfit, and I could not think of a better misfit than Dinky Bassetti from the 1990 movie Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael. Now, Dinky was played by Winona Ryder, and you're probably thinking that does not look a thing like Winona Ryder, but just wait and see. It will look like Dinky Bassetti once we get done with it. Because while I don't make any of the lines or angles correctly the first time around, I'm pretty good at getting the character by the end of my sketch. And it usually only takes me about 15 minutes. So I was a really big fan of Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael, and I really rooted for Dinky Bassetti. At one time, I even wrote a poem about her. I don't remember all of it, but it started out like this. They say that adoption's a mighty fine option, unless you get Rosemary's Babe. While they love their dear Dink, the Bassettis just think it'd be best if they put her away. 'Cause Dinky is smelly and always rebelling, and Dinky's got rats in her hair. Get her a nice sweater, whatever you get her. It's black by tomorrow, I swear. But Roxy Carmichael is coming to town. Pink banners are streaming, and everyone's dreaming. She's worshipped and loved and adored, 'cause she's gone and got famous. But the only real shame is that nobody knows quite what for. It's a really great movie. You should go see it. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure it's available. And Winona Ryder is wonderful as Dinky Bassetti, the misfit. And, well, I didn't get any of the lines in her face correct. I think that when you look at the final drawing, you can see that that is Dinky. So if you like it, subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. And I'll see you tomorrow with another drawing.
Okay, so yeah, that was just sharing some of the videos that I had created for Inktober 2019, pre-P word, the pre-P times. So anyhow, I thought I would draw for a little bit. I have this illustration that I've been working on. I'm kind of slow when I create my illustrations, but that's just how I roll, Okay, so I'm going to move it over to the side. This over to the side like that, just so I can kind of see both. Hi. Oh, ready, Roo. So yeah, I did a little bit of drawing, and I wish you a spooky and happy Halloween, so to speak, and have a good night. Happy Halloween.